Hi, I'm Rochelle of Alley Row Designs. I'm the row in Alley Row. I remember when the term working from home was put in air quotes, and now it's an essential part of our business model. Um, Jill, you touched on this already a little bit, but how can employers help employees make remote workspaces become a true extension of the office?
Yeah, I think, aside from just giving them guidance, I think they need to understand, what is involved in making this home workspace a ergonomic space that's going to reflect the same type of well-being elements. So I think the best way to look at this question is to look at what is being provided in the workplace today to support those things. We want to give people spaces that give them the tools to be able to work longer and more comfortable so they can be productive and healthy at work. Ideally, we want employees to be happier and healthier when they leave the office than when they came into the office. And so if we could reflect this into the home office as well, I think that's the most ideal situation. We can't do any of this without looking at well-being, which involves both physical and psychological comfort. So we need to create spaces at home that work harder to help solve for those regular disruptions, allow for comfort, and that all that's appropriate for the work that's being done. And there's four essential categories or essential principles that we use to assess space. Privacy, proximity, posture, and personality. Making sure all of these things exist in the spaces are the key drivers to ensuring well-being and productivity. They're pretty important and kind of easy things once you start to think about them and how you can apply them to the space. So when we talk about privacy, there's a few different things we have to think about with privacy. So we think about acoustical privacy, visual privacy, and also territorial privacy. So acoustical privacy, of course, is going to be being able to put yourself in a space where you can avoid those sound disruptions. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily have a separate space where they can close the door and go and do their day-to-day tasks for work. So looking at alternate ways using screens or other pieces of furniture to help absorb the sound, and even having those screens to be able to help with that visual privacy. And the great thing about using a screen or something that's mobile is that it will allow you to adjust based on the level of privacy you need. So depending on the task you're doing throughout the day, if you have a movable screen or a piece of furniture that you can move in and out, it will allow you to kind of flex your home space, especially in those spaces that are also part of your living space. So the other piece of it is the territorial privacy. And so when you think about territorial privacy in the office, it's really easy to think, okay, well, I need to somehow separate my desk from this person's desk, and how do I do that? When we look at it at home, it's a little bit different. Easy to talk about if you're working in a shared environment where you have maybe a dedicated space where you and your partner or you and your kids are sharing workspace, creating those territorial privacy so you know where my space is and where their space is. But the other conversation about territorial privacy, especially in the home, because we are sort of fitting these workspaces into our living space and they're not necessarily separate spaces, is creating these like boundaries. So they're territorial boundaries, and that might be an area rug, or even these screens we talked about before that just signal that this is your space and that when it's in use, that those are your boundaries and that you cannot enter those boundaries when that space is in use by you. So territorial boundaries become kind of a different conversation in the home office. The next one is posture. And this is one that I feel really strongly about. And that's really just making sure you're getting postural changes throughout the day, that you're not sitting. They talk about sitting being the new smoking. So it's the new unhealthy thing to do. So really it's just about changing your body posture. So whether that's standing and walking throughout the day, taking a conference call and walking while on the conference call, or even just changing into a lounge posture, moving from your seated position at your desk to a lounge chair or the sofa in your living room. So just making sure your body the blood is flowing differently and changing your posture throughout the day. The next one is proximity. So proximity really gets at your work tools and the things you need to effectively do your work, and having them close at hand. That's why we call it proximity. We want them to be close to you. The idea here is making sure you're comfortable, and you have things close at hand so that you're minimizing disruptions. If I have to get up and leave my desk and go to another room to get some of my documents or to power up a device because I've lost battery, it's a big disruption in my day. So having power access closely at your desk, having your documents close to you, having all the tools you need to get your work done close at hand means that you're not having to get up and go to other places to get that done. And the last one is personality. So personality is another important one, and a lot easier to do individually in your own home, but it really does reflect your own brand, right? It brings authenticity to your space. It makes your space a place that you want to spend longer periods of time in. And it could be a great area rug, it could be a great painting on the wall, or just some trinkets that you love to have around you that really make that space a place you want to be. The other thing too is with this remote work that we have and being on video calls all the time, we kind of lose a little bit of that humanity, like that human feel. So having some of those little personality pieces that your peers can see that kind of makes you more human is also a really great thing to have in your space to bring out that personality piece and just enrich those experiences you're having with your peers and colleagues. So that's the 4 Ps. And if we can do all those, we can definitely be productive longer, and we can ensure this psychological comfort that we really want, that all kind of rolls back up into the well-being story.
That's great, Julie. Thank you so much. And also with personality, you can't regret having great wallpaper as well, right?